Hey everyone, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Nurgle Team Development. We've had a look at starting rosters for all the teams available in Blood Bowl 2020. We've had a look at tournament rosters as well. Now we're going to have a bit more of a deep dive into each of the teams, and today we're going to be doing the Nurgle team. And we're going to look at all the positionals. We're going to look at some skills that you might want to take and which order you want to take them. The whole idea of this is that we have a look at what this team is going to look like in a league, and if you're running Nurgle in a league, hopefully we'll be able to help you kind of plan out your team development. So let's start at the top and work our way down. We've got the Rotspawn, or the Beast of Nurgle, as it used to be called. So the Rotspawn is a very cool big guy that goes in this team. It's kind of iconic for the Nurgle team. So the Rotspawn is 140,000, so Ogre price, Movement 4, Strength 5, Agility 5+, Passing nothing, AV 10+, Disturbing Presence, Foul Appearance, Loner 4+, Mighty Blow +1, Plague Ridden, Really Stupid, Regeneration, and Tentacles. So the whole point of this thing is that it just sits there with Strength 5, uses Tentacles to keep people next door tied in, has got Disturbing Presence, so it creates basically 7 squares by 7, where there's a -1 to catching and throwing. And that's including players as well. Plague Ridden means if someone gets knocked down by it and dies, you get a rotter. Really Stupid means try not to activate it all that much. It's going to need some friends. Regeneration means it's going to stick around as well. And Foul Appearance is going to come in handy because if people want to block it, because using Tentacles is going to be a bit of a challenge sometimes, as in trying to move away from it. If they go for a big block, it's got to be a 2+, or they don't get to do it at all. So the Rotspawn is the kind of big guy you don't want to activate. So, as most of its skills are inactive ones, they're passive skills, the way you can develop it, you can kind of make that more beneficial. So, Guard is a great skill for Rotspawn. Yes, a lot of the players on the Nurgle team are already Strength 4, which means they're normally getting 2-die blocks. But having Guard means you can really just chuck a couple of Rotters on the line next to it, saving a couple of your Bloaters to be kind of linebackers, giving those guys extra blocks. Most importantly, the great thing about Guard skill when you get it is that you do not have to activate the Rotspawn. So you don't have to risk it not working, which is pretty sweet. Now alternatively, you can take Brawler to make its blocking more effective. The problem with that is you risk failing that Really Stupid and it losing its tackle zones and just not counting. And if that happens, you lose the Tentacles, and the Tentacles are really kind of why you want to use it. We've got Grab, we've got Multiple Block, we've got Armbar. So Armbar is going to be really useful because they're going to have to roll to get tackled away, they're going to have to roll to get Tentacle free, and then they've got to make the dodge roll. If they go down, Armbar +1 to armor rolls. Could be great fun. Break Tackle is going to allow this thing to dodge around once per turn on a 3+, so not brilliant. And again, that means you're activating the Rotspawn. If we have a look at some doubles, so let's say you take Guard first of all, you can save up and give it Block. Block is going to be great on offense and defense. Okay, so if you've got Block, it's going to be harder for your opponents to try and knock it down. It's going to take some effort for them to get a 1 or 2 die block against you, and if you've got Block on your Rotspawn, it's going to be even harder for them to actually knock you away. Defensive is going to be useful to counter Guard, so during your opponent's team turn, any opposition players being marked by this player cannot use the Guard skill. So if they're going to have to allocate resources to get a profitable block on your Rotspawn, having defensive on it means that their Guard doesn't count. So you chuck a couple of Rotters, just one Rotter next to the Rotspawn, and they're going to have to do some serious work to get a profitable block here. Pro is going to be useful if you want to activate him. Claws is going to be useful for defensive blocks, and if you do eventually block something with the Rotspawn. Prehensile Tail, though, I think is an absolutely brilliant pickup on the Rotspawn. Yes, it's a mutation, so you got to wait a little while to get the SPP. Is that right? Yeah. But -1 to dodges away after they've done Tentacles, it just means your Rotspawn is just going to be this little glue machine of Strength 5. It's practically terrain. If you run your Rotspawn knowing all that, when you go to develop it, you can just complement your team. Guard is really the best choice here, guys, because it's just going to make 2 players next door to you better. And it's probably better to make 2 2-die blocks with Rotters than it is to make 1 2-die block with a Rotspawn and risk having the roll really stupid and then losing the tentacles. It's a really cool combo. Learn when not to use it, and you can get some skills here. Prehensile tail, armbar, guard, defensive, and quite frankly claws as well. It's all stuff that's going to work even if it doesn't activate. And that brings us to the kind of key players on this team, which are the Nurgle Bloaters, so the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle. So these guys are pretty tough. They're 115k, movement 4, strength 4, agility 4+, passing 6+, and armor 10+. They have also got Disturbing Presence, also got Foul Appearance, also Plague Ridden, also Regeneration. But these guys actually have access to normal skills, and there's no Negatrait on them, which means these guys are the ones doing stuff on your team. Now, Agility 4+ means that they are going to be restricted in the way they move around, and quite frankly, with the ball handling as well. So you're going to have to kind of count on the fact that these guys are there for punching, and they're kind of like mini ogres is probably the best way to think about it. They're mini ogres that don't have Loner and they don't have a Negatrait. That's still pretty good. So with these guys, the development is really boring. There's not a lot you can do that's exciting if you want to be as optimal as you can. Block is the first thing these guys should get. Block, Mighty Blow, Guard are 3 awesome skills for the Bloaters. These guys are blockers. If you've watched the top 5 blocker video, you'll understand that their role is to punch, be punched, and just to dominate via strength. Now, block is going to help you on offense and defense. After that, guard is going to help you make better blocks. More blocks, more better. More Blood Bowl. More Blood Bowl is more better. Anyway, block, then Mighty Blow, or block, then guard, depending on your meta. But block is absolutely the right thing to take first. You've got Claw, which you can take as well, which is going to, in the long run, help you farm more casualties, but not as much as Block will. Grab and Frenzy, you can look at level 3 or 4 with these guys. Then it gets a bit more spicy. On a double, so spending 12 SPP to get that secondary skill, Defensive is going to be good to counter guard. Dodge is going to be good to stay alive, and also if you need to try and move around with 4+ agility, Dodge is going to make that feel a little bit better, and Sidestep is going to keep you exactly where you want to be. But again, those are deep skills, quite frankly. Stat wise, you can wait and save up 18, but movement 5 is not much better than movement 4. Agility 3+ is not much better than agility 4+, and strength 5 is okay, but you're still 2-die blocking most people. So realistically, block, guard, block, Mighty Blow for the Nurgle Bloaters, and they're going to start being cool. Let's talk randoms. Okay, so if you want to go random with a Nurgle Bloater, it's a bit of a gamble. Block is going to be good. Dauntless is going to be okay. Dirty Player, you don't want to be fouling with guys that are, by this point, 125k. It's like fouling with a War Dancer. It's just very risky. Fend, not going to be very useful. Frenzy will be good. Kick is going to be good for your team, but you don't want it on a bloater. Pro will be useful. Shadowing will not. Strip Ball might come in handy. Sure Hands might come in handy. Tackle might come in handy. Wrestle is okay, but again, you don't want these guys on the ground. Quite frankly, save it. Just wait. You can gamble and get block, but it's a 1 in 12 chance of pulling block, and block is the skill you want. Just wait. So not very exciting with these guys. You can obviously go full chaos and just start chucking on random mutations, but it's only going to be marginally useful. But these guys are far more than marginally useful. So we've got the Pestigores here, and I think it's safe to say that the Pestigores are kind of the stars of this team. You get 0 to 4, and they're 75k each, which is far more achievable and price appropriate than the other guys. So far more affordable, should we say. So movement 6, strength 3, agility 3+. So yes, these guys are your ball carriers. Passing 4+, and armor 9+. Plague ridden again, regeneration again, which is great, which means that when you brew these guys up, regen is going to keep them healthy. They've also got horns. So you've got 4 strength 4 guys that are going to be block guarding their way through life. And you've got a Pestigore here. You've got ball carrier, potentially ball carrier, that blitzes at strength 4. So it's going to get him out of trouble. And if you need a safety, if you need a blitz on a ball carrier, strength 4 is going to be fantastic. What complements strength? What protects your ball carrier? It's block. So the cool thing about the Pestigore is normally you end up with multiples. One Pestigore you kind of want to develop to be your ball carrier, and the best thing to do that is block. Another Pestigore actually to be a ball sacker, is actually really useful. So wrestle on a second Pestigore. Wrestle is not a good skill for a ball carrier, but it's a great skill for a sacker. So you've got block on your ball carrier. That can then be developed further. So sure hands is going to be great. Extra arms is going to be great. Big hand is going to be great. And two heads is going to be great. All those skills help develop the Pestigore. Now, this could be a player that you risk a 3 SPP roll for mutations. So, Pestigore. Big hand. That means it's picking up on a 3+ forever. Claws. You're blitzing at strength 4. You've got a strength 4 claws blitzer. That's not bad either. Disturbing presence. You've got a ton of that on your team, and it is very effective. It will just shut down the pass game. Extra arms means this guy is now catching and picking up the ball on a 2+. That is good for a ball carrier. Foul appearance is going to help you not get blocked. It's not brilliant, but every now and again your opponent is going to go for that blitz. It's going to roll a 1 and nothing's going to happen, and you're going to feel really smug about it. Horns you've already got, so you get a reroll. Iron hard skin is going to protect you against claws in the long run. Not brilliant. Monstrous mouth is okay as a skill. Basically it's sure hands for it's catch, but with the protection of sure hands, so it works against strip ball and is going to give you a reroll if you hand off to this guy. Prehensile tail is going to be okay. That guy then kind of becomes a safety. You put him on a player and that player is then -1 to dodge away. Tentacles isn't superb on strength 3, but it will come in handy and it will be aggravating. Two heads. Now this guy's dodging around on a 2+ instead. Very long legs is probably the one here that is not great. Yeah, it helps you interfere with passes, but you've got so much disturbing presence that that's not going to come up very often. So out of these 12, there's a couple there. Iron hard skin, tentacles, very long legs that aren't superb. That's 9, which are pretty decent. So there's always the route of, okay, I don't necessarily want to take block on the Pestigore. I think you should. But then, after you've got block, you can start taking random mutations. Or you can roll a random mutation first, and then whatever you roll, that kind of will give you some guidance on where you're taking that Pestigore. If you roll and he gets claws, well then he's going to become your blitzer. If you roll and he gets extra arms, then he's going to be your ball carrier. It's really cool, and it can be a lot of fun, I think. The best thing to do is block, wrestle. But the fun thing to do is random mutations. And last but definitely not least, we've got the lowly Nurgle Rotter. So the Rotter got a price decrease by 5k. It's now 35k, which I think makes it the cheapest lineman that isn't a stunty. So 35k. Movement 5, that's okay. Strength 3, that's average. Agility 4+ is slightly below average. Passing 6+ is better than a zombie. Armor 9+, then Decay and Plague Ridden. So these guys are likely to die quicker, but it's not that bad anymore. General and Mutation is their normal skill route. So, we've talked about this a lot. Linemen are absolutely prime for a cheeky 3 SPP random general roll. There's so many skills here that on a Rotter are just it's gonna give them character, but also just going to be handy. Block is going to be handy. Dauntless less so on a team that you've got so much strength, but actually it could be quite entertaining. For 35k, then it goes up to 45k. You've just got this random dude that's just running around picking fights with stuff. Dirty Player is going to be really useful for this guy. Fouling, great stuff. Fend, less so. Frenzy, entertaining, especially once you start building up some guard. Kick, very useful. Pro is going to be okay. Now, these are agility 3+, so they don't make terrible reserve ball carriers, so that will help them. Shadowing, garbage. Strip ball, not really going to happen. Sure hands, again, 3+ agility becomes your ball carrier, or at least the first one to get it, or a reserve ball carrier for 10k. Tackle can be helpful. Movement 5 doesn't make them a great safety, but that's still covering 11 squares in the backfield. If you've got enough rerolls to risk the go for it will be able to apply tackle on any square across the pitch. That's quite useful. And wrestle again is going to be really great for the Rotter. So there's a ton of general skills that work really well, and mutations will be fun as well. Big hand is not going to be bad. Claws, if you get it, is going to be okay. 2 heads, he's dodging around on a 2+. These guys are just prime for random skills. I would probably go random general. If I then want to develop them in a specific way, I can wait for 8. Or you just take another random, and I think, what is it, 4 SPP, the next one? Let's double check. So first random is at 3 SPP. The second random is at 4. So if you can get a Nurgle Rotter, a touchdown, and an MVP, you can get a general random and a mutation random. And that's going to be quite a cool Rotter at 55k. Just imagine that. Sweet rolling into a block claw Nurgle Rotter for 55k. That's best case scenario mentality, but it could be really entertaining. If you want to slow brew these guys up and control their development and actually block, wrestle, kick, dirty player, allows your lineman to do lineman things. Defensive is going to be useful. It's going to help counter the guard that you've got, or it's going to help support the guard you've got. Guard itself is probably a better route to take. Dodge, maybe. 3+ is not bad agility wise, and Sneaky Git will combo well with dirty player. So there's a lot you can do with the Rotters. They're not brilliant. I actually really love the idea of just taking randoms on them all the time. You're going to get skills quickly, and you're going to have a low TV, which is actually really good. You're going to come against SPP pretty slow on this team, so it's kind of about making the most of it when you get it. I just realised that the video here has got little hearts flying out of the Nurgle stuff. I think that's how a lot of people feel about Nurgle. Anyway, guys, that will wrap up our Nurgle team development. It's going to be a slow team to brew up. So look for BB3, where you can farm loads of games in. Actually, you can just wait for the SPP, get in 20 games, and choose, and then you end up with a whole bunch of Blodge Guard Nurgle Rotters. Nurgle Bloaters. That's going to be good. For tabletop, though, I think it's going to be a case of rushing to 3 or 6 SPP and rolling some random skills to develop it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Nurgle in Blood Bowl 2020. I love the miniatures. I don't love the way the team has kind of taken a bit of a beating. If there's one team I'd love them to just juice up a bit, it would be Nurgle. Anyway, guys, I'm going to disappear, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. See you later. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.